Hello, welcome back to Dukascopy TV. I'm Ben Jones. The euro area is seeing relatively positive retail sales data recently, so to what extent will this influence ECB policy changes? Joining me on the line to discuss this is Jon Copestake from the Economist Intelligence Unit. So John, yesterday we saw improvement in the Eurozone services PMI and retail sales went up to 0.9% on an annual basis, with some strong individual data from France. What can we take from these figures?
Well, undoubtedly the market situation in the Eurozone is improving. We forecast that in volume terms the region as a whole will swing from decline over the last few years towards modest growth, and that indicates recovery in confidence in consumer spending. However, this is still extremely fragile, and austerity still looms in a lot of the markets, especially places like Spain, Italy and Portugal, and even Greece, although there's been obviously an appreciation there. Of a greater concern as well is this decline in German sales, and I think that's going to weigh on short-term recovery and confidence.
It's recently been stated that Italy could drag the Eurozone down, with the third largest bond market in the world worth $2 trillion. Their retail sales have been weak recently as well. How vital will an improvement in retail sales be to help boost Italy's economy?
Well, I think Italian debt is a significant concern and one that could really upset this fragile recovery that's taking place across the Eurozone. A recovery in Italian consumer confidence will feed into higher retail sales, and that will feed into the wider economy, and that will provide a much-needed boost. But I think this is going to be modest. Fiscal austerity and government debt reduction are going to continue to weigh on consumer spending, and austerity measures really mean that Italy's priority is going to be focusing on cutting expenditure to reduce debt, rather than actually encourage greater spending. So I think that it's probably a fairly moot point in terms of the impact.
And finally, looking ahead to tomorrow's ECB rate decision, to what extent can retail sales data influence ECB policy?
Well, retail sales are a bit of a lag factor in terms of that they provide an economic health check and they monitor consumer sentiment. So, they'll no doubt be considered in measures like setting interest rates or providing stimulus packages. But from an ECB point of view, they're just one of a large number of metrics that the European Central Bank will take into account. And, there's a lot of things that they will use to define policy. And also, as with all things, there's a fine line, across the Eurozone between, sales growth reflecting recovery and sales growth reflecting, matters of concern like rising consumer credit or increasing household debt. So there's a bit of a tightrope for the ECB to walk in terms of using this to influence policy.
John, thank you very much for talking to us today. That's all we've got time for, I'm afraid. Make sure you keep clicking back, though, for plenty more updates and exclusive interviews. Goodbye.